Welcome to TA Knows Stuff About Things. I'm TA. On this episode, I'm going to talk about something that I feel is lacking in all of our lives, whether you know it or not. Not everybody can do everything. I don't care if you have $8 billion in your bank account. I don't care if you're homeless and thinking about your next get. You can't do everything. The reason I say this is because I'm watching more and more YouTube videos, some DIY, where the host puts something together based on what they think it should be or how it should be. So if there's an electronic device and you're really bad with computers, you probably shouldn't be doing that. If you're an author and you're trying to teach me about computers, unless you've got a degree in computer science, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You're an author. Write books. One of the things I noticed, actually, let me get the device. So you see people using tools they don't really know anything about, or the lack thereof. This is a Panduit zip gun. From what I see on a lot of DIY channels, people don't know what the hell that is. They know what this is. It's a zip tie. And sometimes they have to group something together like this wire. And I've done a lot of these. And so for longevity, these are going to be in place, say, for decades. So one of the things you want to do when you put together a control panel or even just a run of wire on your workbench or at your kitchen cabinets, you don't want anything that's going to cut someone. Well, typically, what people do is they zip this like that. They get it closed, and then they cut it with a pair of pliers. The problem is that leaves a very sharp edge that you can cut yourself. Yes, I have many times, because not everybody I worked with knew to do this. It was actually kind of foreign when I presented it to a few electricians I knew. So basically what you should do is you gather your wire, you take your zip gun, you place the tie wrap inside the zip gun, and you hit the trigger. Okay, it's going to take the end off, and it's going to leave this nice and smooth. Most people cut it with a diagonal, and it leaves a sharp edge. And future electricians will come up to that, or technicians will come up to that, and move their hand across it, trying to get into something and cut themselves. It won't bleed much. It won't be bad. It's not a bad cut. It's just a bad practice. That's one thing I've noticed. I've noticed all kinds. I could probably make a YouTube channel out of pointing out people's mistakes and things, that they shouldn't be doing it that way, or it should be another way. And how I come across this thought is because I've done the work. I'm not only an electrician. I started out as a Boilermaker. Well, if you want to get technical, I started out as an electrician. The apprenticeship closed for whatever reason. Another one became available to me. I took it. I learned how to burn. So my designation was Boilermaker. Taking a acetylene torch, and you cut metal and you form it to a functional piece, in our case, in the steel mill. Hand in hand with that is welding. So you cut the metal, then you tack it together, and then your welder then welds the piece. So I've done all that. And most of the brain work that goes along with that. And then I became an electrician. I went to school. It was 1984. My dad said to me, "Tony, what do you want to do?" Because he knew the mills were closing. And I said, "I want to be an electrician like you, Dad, because it's safe. You're always home. It's good enough for me." He says, "Okay, I will pay for you to go to school. You put computers in your background." This was 1984. So that fall, I entered was it the fall? I'm not sure. I think it was fall of 1985, 86. Don't remember. Anyway, took the course, took the electrical course. There was a young man sitting next to me, John Rippeth. He felt good about going into an electrical program because he had finally learned how to read. He was basically illiterate. His soon-to-be then wife was teaching him at home how to read, how to understand the words he was reading. I graduated with a 95.5. I was the only honor graduate in my class. Designated that way too, and at the ceremony got the coin pin for honor graduate. I went to Coin American, which is now Coin American Institute, which is now Coin College, I believe. John was runner-up, I guess, if you want to call it that. He had a 94.5. Not because we cheated. I swear to God, I'm not that kind of person. I would not let him look at my answers. He would even move farther away from me during testing time. But he did really well for himself. Now, I was older at that time. I was probably in my early 30s, maybe. I was married. Yeah, that was 85, 86. So early 30s. I had took also microcomputer repair at night. In the evenings, I was asked by the school to be a teacher's assistant for the construction teacher. He expressed that he liked my style, my attitude, and wanted me to help him because he always had a teacher's assistant to handle all the people. And it was a big class. It was as big as my day class was. So I did that 2 nights a week for 3 or 4 months. Then I took microcomputer repair. When you do these kinds of classes, and I'm a very hands-on kind of person, I don't want to read how to do it. I want to see how to do it. I want to actually do it with my own hands. When you do that, you find yourself at a level of questioning things. When you question things, you learn and can adapt them to your situation, however you might need it. Can understand other situations and see a little more above what that person's thinking. When you can put logic to an idea that nobody has an understanding about, you can then avoid that pitfall when you do it for yourself. So a lot of people on YouTube will try to put together an idea using their hands, but without the qualifying effort of the other trades that might be involved in creating that idea. Like if you write a song and you're not a guitar player, you're going to need a guitar player to flesh it out. And he's going to have ideas about the song that are going to contradict you. Maybe, maybe not. Will contradict you to make it easier for him to transcribe the song into a melody. 2 guitar players with you writing that song are going to have other formulations they want to add to it to make it better, because they're going to know something you're not going to know. But if you present it as your song without the input from other players, you're not going to see where the pitfalls are at. That being the case, not everybody who does something on YouTube, doing any kind of DIY, they don't see everything. Like right now, there's a guy on YouTube trying to sell refurbished Lenovo laptops. I've been in the industry for 37 years. Not in one place, but quite a few places. Because contracts end, you can't do anything about that. They're just going to move on. They just want to rotate stock, get somebody else in. So usually by the 10th company you work for, you've got a lot of things worked out. You've got a lot of tools in your tool chest. You've got a lot of ideas that will help you make the system better, make your time there more worthwhile, that they don't know about. Well, one of the things that this guy doesn't know about on YouTube is like Lenovo Vantage. The best part about Lenovo Vantage is it lets you go deeper into the computer to learn how to set your battery to 80% fill. Don't let it go to 100, because quite frankly, it actually wears out the battery quicker by trying to get to 100%. If you go to 80%, and you can do this with your phone also, charge the battery only to 80% and then let it unplug and use it. It makes the battery last longer because you're not burying it into full charge every time. But you can only do that with the Lenovo Advantage. And he's refurbishing all these laptops, putting an image on it, but not putting Lenovo Vantage. You're not going to know everything about computers. There are so many people with computers now, or phones, doesn't matter, that don't need help. Imagine that in the Midwest and the South, there are like a few 100 million people that know how to fix their computer. They don't need any help. Good for you. Do you know how to set your computer at 80% charge? Nope. Do you know how to install a new operating system? Nope. Do you know how to update your operating system? Nope. What are you going to do when your computer crashes? Buy a new one. "37 years in the industry. The thing I learned first year, when a computer crashes, your data is still there. It's still on the hard drive. It's not gone. It can be recovered. It can be recovered. The computer did not crash. It's not dead. The operating system crashed. It just needs to be repaired. It'll leave your data alone. It'll put a new operating system on with the disk or however you're going to do it, and you can recover your data. Most people just throw the computer away. Why? You can get your data back. That's a scary thought. All the computers that are in landfills could be recovered and data could be extracted. Yeah, think about that. But yet you know better. Oh, T.A., you don't know what you're talking about. You do? I've done this before. Have you? Just because I have 37 years doesn't mean I know everything, but I know a damn lot more than you do. And I can help you. And I want to help you. And probably help you for free. But you don't ask. So I can't help you. So you're just going to go ahead and spend. $400 for a refurbished laptop is a lot better than $2,000 for a Mac. Okay, Macs are easy. Anybody can use a Mac. I think I would like to be challenged a little more. I've got a little more brain power than most people, and I want to be challenged. So I'm going to go with Windows. In fact, I'm going to be adding and installing Linux to learn a whole new operating system. Why? Why not? Doesn't hurt to learn. But if you're easy all the time, and the interesting thing about that is that once a Mac hits the end of its operating system life, you throw it away because it can't be upgraded. So you're locked into that computer. Well, guess what? You can put Windows on there, even 11. You could put Linux on there, any distro you want. Linux is free. Boy, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I was in the steel mills for about 20 years. First as an electrical apprentice, then a boilermaker. So that was 4 years. I learned welding within that time frame and carried it out. When I went and joined IMC, which was the company my dad was in, he said, you got to have 3 trades to get in. Which is interesting to me because all of the riggers just did rigging. They couldn't do anything else. All of the plumbers just did plumbing. They couldn't do anything else. But because I went in as an electrician, I was also able to do welding, pipe fitting. What else did I do? I had to have 3 trades. Electrical, welding, burning and welding. And pipe fitting, pretty much anything they threw at me I could do. But you can only do that when you get to a certain level. You get to a level of above a situation where you can look down on it and see all of the working parts and understand all the working parts and know how to put them in place. Like when I taught myself how to make websites. I taught myself. I didn't read a book. I guess that's one of the things I came away from high school being so screwed up when it came to reading. I did the visual step back and look and asked questions. Did it with my hands on the spot. Much easier. That makes a difference when you can do that. When you can see above it and see all of the angles and put them in play or practice, makes a difference. Not everybody doing things on YouTube is doing that. Unless you're in just a segment. If you're just doing computers and you've done it all before and you've done it for so many years and you're trained, then you can stay in that space and you rarely go out of it. So like Theo Joe, he's perfectly in his space. He is so far and deep in that space that he saved me a few times. And Dave's Garage, same thing. Network Chuck. Though I haven't tried his coffee. Being able to see over the areas where computers and graphics and building the components comes into play, a different set of eyes makes a difference. Using tools without having the experience puts you in a situation. Obviously, someone's going to get hurt because of you. And I try not to let that happen. I think everything I've done in my life as far as a skilled laborer, burning, welding, electrical, no one was hurt because of it. Computers, no one was hurt. So I stay within those 4 frames, but it still allows me to see outside of, and you can offer a perspective that most people won't look at. Kind of like when members of a board weigh in on a product change or update or removal or addition of board members. Why are they doing that? To what end is their skill set on the product, how does that make them the better voice? It doesn't really. They're winging it, I would think, because they don't understand chemistry. They're not chemists. They're just not those kinds of people. They don't have the background to talk about mechanical engineering or electrical engineering. Maybe one or two of them do, but the rest of them are going, I don't like it. Based on what? Based on your theory of electrical engineering? Or mechanical engineering? Or chemical engineering? Or computer engineering? Yet I'm sitting here with all this knowledge and I can weigh in and I've got some good thoughts about how you can make things better. And I'm here to help. Really, I'm here to help. I like to help. I can help. I really can. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's T.A. We'll see you next time on T.A. Knows Stuff About Things. Take care.